How's it going today, buddies? Hopefully everybody is well. So I wanted to do a knife video, but I really didn't have any ideas for a knife video. And then I remembered I requested a video on, somebody requested a video on why I would retire a knife, because I often talk about like retiring my knives and stuff like that. And what I mean by retiring my knives is taking them out of my e.d.c and just putting them away in storage. So this is my most current retired knife, and this is why I would retire a knife. So basically the few reasons why I would retire a knife is, one is that the lock stopped working. So when you could literally just, no pressure, you don't have to push in the lock to close it, because then that becomes dangerous to you and the people around you pretty much. Two is when the knife actually breaks. This knife, you could see, I actually had to do a little bit of work to it, but before this popped off, like this whole thing popped right off, so I had to actually replace the rivets on it. This one I didn't quite finish yet, but I'll have to finish that. So that's another reasons why I retired this knife. Thirdly is because I just got more knives that I wanted to try out, and I wanted to put in my e.d.c, because every once in a while I like to filter it out about every 2 to 3 years. I like to filter it out and get a new e.d.c. So that's really the reason. I mean, if the lock stops working, if the knife is damaged in any way that becomes unsafe or really unusable, and just 3 is just to really filter the knife out and bring in something new just to try, or just to, you know, ultimately this knife will probably make its way back into my e.d.c, but right now not my newest knife, but one of my newer knives ended up making its way into the e.d.c because I wanted to try it out, and it seems like I'm getting a little bit more use out of that knife than I would out of this knife. And like I said, I still have to work on this knife with putting that rivet back in fully and stuff like that. So really that's the whole answer on why I would you know, retire a knife. I don't know why, if you guys feel the same, if you retire them because they're damaged or because the locks on them stop working. I know I don't like these types of locks, and I like liner locks, and I know a lot of people in the knife world will disagree with me, but I always find that these types of locks where you have to kind of just push it and it collapses, these types of locks often fail. And the fact that, like, I've never had a liner lock knife fail on me or like have to be replaced or anything, but these types of locks I always do. They always like get to the point where they're just no pressure really needed. You just kind of tap it and it comes out, and that actually caused me to cut myself down to the bone quite a few times with this knife, because this was, like I said, this was like my workhorse knife, a knife that I would always work on, you know, cars, like house rental, stuff like that. I would always use this knife as one of my main tools. And because of that failed lock, I've cut myself down to the bone quite a few times with that. Now it's actually working. But yeah, so that's made like the main reason, just because that failed lock causes a lot of injury and a lot of grief and a lot of headache, and especially if you have kids and stuff like that and you're a big knife user, your kids usually tend to get a hold of your knives, and you don't want, you know what I mean, there to be any injury and stuff like that where there doesn't really have to be. But I know I'm kind of rambling and stuff like that. That was just a quick video on why I retire some of my knives. But anyway, let me know if you guys retire your knives for the same reasons, if you guys retire your knives for totally different reasons. But let me know what you guys think. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. You know, I love you very much, and I will check you in the next video.